Greetings, fellow Fright fans. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for a new episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and this is a tag video that I'm doing for my friend Sean Erschen. He tagged me about a week ago, and it's called the Sci-Fi Horror Tag. So it's a total of 7 questions, all related to sci-fi horror movies. And I hope everyone enjoys this. And Sean, thank you so much for tagging me. Okay, so question number 1 is, what is your favorite sci-fi horror monster or killer? That one is pretty easy for me because I still think it's one of the most terrifying creatures ever done, created by H.R. Giger and featured, of course, originally in the 1979 film Alien. And that is, of course, the Xenomorph. I still think the Xenomorph is one of the most interesting and disturbing creations ever made. The fact that it has acid for blood, that it has a tongue with teeth on it that shoot out and hit you in the head. I mean, there's so many creepy things and visuals about the Xenomorph. I think the 2 films that captured the terror of that creature the best were the original Alien and Aliens. The films after that, I think, it's hit or miss. I do enjoy, elements of Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. The first Alien vs. Predator I like a lot. I didn't like the second one as much because you couldn't see shit in it. It was so damn dark. I do like Prometheus a lot. It's probably one of my favorites after Alien and Aliens. Alien Covenant I liked more upon repeat viewings. The thing is that I don't think the Xenomorph creature is as scary as it was in the first 2 films. And that could just be because, we're so used to seeing it now. And it's been done so many times in other films. I don't think the alien creature was as scary in Alien Covenant as it was in the originals, which was disappointing to me. I thought the Neomorph was actually scarier. I actually thought David, played by the amazing Michael Fassbender, was scarier than the Xenomorph. So that was kind of a disappointment. But again, I still enjoy the film. I think Prometheus is better. But, the Xenomorph's character is still iconic and terrifying, and those first 2 movies, the first one by Alien by Ridley Scott and the sequel Aliens by James Cameron, are 2 of the best films of all time, and Aliens is one of the best sequels ever made. So Xenomorph, that's going to be like, long story short, Xenomorph. That is my answer to question number 1. Question number 2, what is your favorite sci-fi horror movie? And this one has been one that I've always loved, but for some reason over the last couple of years, and it could be because Scream Factory put out that amazing release, Blu-ray release of it. But I've just been watching it a lot more. It's been on cable, and I've had the Blu-ray, and I've watched it a lot. And it's actually become one of my favorite horror films of all time, and that's John Carpenter's The Thing. I absolutely love that film. I love the entire cast, from Keith David to the amazing Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley. Amazing practical effects by the amazing Rob Bottin, and fantastic direction by John Carpenter, and the music by Ennio Morricone. Just fantastic. Everything about the film is just amazing. Claustrophobic, unsettling, isolation, paranoia. There's so many great elements to this film, and it just is so fantastic to watch. And what a fantastic movie. It's easily one of the best remakes ever made, and one of the best horror movies ever made. Question number 3 is worst sci-fi horror film. The one that I can think of recently that really disappointed me, I don't know if it's the worst sci-fi film ever, horror film ever made, was The Void. And I know it was independently done, and the effects in it were good from what I could see, but that movie was just a mess. I thought it had some elements that were, very reminiscent of The Thing or Hellraiser. There was quite a mix of things. I've only watched it once, so maybe I should give it another shot. But for me, The Void is probably the weakest sci-fi horror film that I had a lot of, I was really excited about it because I had read about it in Horror Hound and seen online where people were saying it was great, the effects were great. And yes, the effects were great. I thought the practical effects were fantastic. The problem was I didn't like the story and I didn't care about the characters. So I think that's what kind of took me out of really enjoying the film, unfortunately. Question number 4 is favorite death in a sci-fi horror film. Now that one's easy. It goes back to John Carpenter's The Thing, and it's the scene with Dr. Cooper and Norris. So it's kind of 2 deaths, but it's when Dr. Cooper is using the defibrillator to bring Norris back, who's fainted and looks to have had a heart attack. He's trying to bring him back, and Norris's stomach opens up and this mouth appears and bites both of Dr. Cooper's arms off. That scene, and then when Norris turns into the Norris creature is just, I still think one of the greatest scenes in cinema history. It's a fantastic scene, and I absolutely love it. And it's pretty much the death of two characters, but I absolutely love that scene, and that still affects me greatly when I watch it. Question number 5 is favorite sci-fi horror weapon or tool. Now, the one I can think about, and I don't know what the name is for it, it's from the Predator franchise, and it's that net, that thing that goes over people, and it like rips right through them. They've shown it in every Predator film, and it's just like this net that just like you can't cut it open. It just sort of like keeps constricting onto you. And I think that's terrifying. That thing is like, it's just like, it's like blades that are going to cut you up, but it looks like a net and it covers you and then it just starts ripping you apart. That is, I think, one of the best weapons I've ever seen in a sci-fi horror film. Favorite science fiction horror franchise. Now, a lot of people didn't like the prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing, but I actually really did. I did think the effects were a little bit lacking when put against Rob Bottin's film from 30 years earlier, but I still think the Thing franchise, those two films, are so wonderfully tied together that I'd have to go with that. Because I'm such a big fan of John Carpenter's The Thing, and it's interesting to see a film that takes place in the events before the remake, showcasing what happened at the Norwegian camp and where did this thing come from. They're the ones that discovered it in the ice. You see bits of it in John Carpenter's film, but the way that the production company laid out the Norwegian camp with, you know, where the thing was held in the block of ice that they found and cut out and brought back, and you know how it blew through the roof, and just little touches that are all in Carpenter's film. And the fact that the last shot of the prequel is the opening, pretty much, of John Carpenter's film, I think that's really, really excellent writing and really great attention to detail. That's what I really love. I love both of them. I love watching them back to back. Sometimes I'll watch the prequel before the remake, and they're seamless in my opinion. Yes, the effects aren't as great because they went more CGI with the 2011 movie, but I still, the way that the creatures look and everything, and the way that everything is kind of leading up to what happens in Carpenter's film, it's really well done. And people that are naysayers on the 2011 prequel need to give it another shot. And it says, the last question is, what horror character would you want shot out into space? And this is going to the Thing prequel. I'm going to have to say Dr. Sander Halvorsen, who was a complete dick through the entire film. I couldn't stand him. He was a complete piece of shit douchebag. I was so happy what happened to him in the film, but at the same time, I wanted him to be taken out much worse and much earlier. He was a complete asshole. Not one character that had any redeeming qualities about him. So yeah, that is going to be it, my fellow fiends. Sean, I hope you liked all the answers to my questions. I hope everyone that watched this video liked the answers to my questions. So to keep this little tag thing going, I'm going to tag a few people that, you know, I'd be interested to hear what their answers were to the questions that I just answered. So I'm going to tag Phil's Creepy Vids, my buddy Phil, Amy over at Amy's Autopsy Report, Gabby Hernandez, who's a very nice YouTuber who always has something nice to say about my videos and things like that. She's an awesome YouTuber. And then also, the last person will be Wolfman's Got Nards. So those are the 4 people I'm going to tag to keep this horror sci-fi tag going. If you guys like the content that I'm putting out, please hit that subscribe button. Check me out on my social media links. Also, subscribe to my friend Sean. He's a great guy. He puts out content very regularly. Excellent guy. Very big horror fan. Can't say enough great things about him. And again, I'll put a link down below to his channel below. And as always, thanks so much for watching Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy, stay scared as always. Peace.